So much. So the veganism thing, I do agree. That's pretty cool. But the evolution thing. So when it comes to evolution, like when I began learning about it, there's a lot of different like stances that people take on it, and some people, there's people that say that you can use evolution to how do I put this? To explain the origin of life, and then other people say that you can't. I would like to ask, what is your stance on that?
The origin of life is explained completely through abiogenesis. Life is just a chemical process. We know that amino acids can form peptides. They can form chains of polypeptides and sheets of amyloids, which can metabolize their own reactants. We know that protocells can emerge from oceans. Lipid molecules can form sheets of lipid bilayers, which then form spherical structures in oceans due to the difference in polarity between the different molecules. And this is a protocell. So we know that with basic ingredients, basic molecules, you can get more complex things. And when you achieve a certain complexity, you have a living organism emerge because it can replicate. And that's all we are. We are systems of molecules that are able to replicate and reproduce. And that's all life is.
Okay, I mean, I understand your stance. I'm not necessarily here to argue it. I was just curious to see what it was, but that's really it.
Great.
Appreciate you. I'm out.
Oh yeah, hi. So I just wanted to know because I feel like with religion, I've been following you for a while. With religion, I mean, other than of course the aspect that people become like fanatics, don't you think that the reason why people actually have a form of religion, it's actually a way for social connection? That could be the motive behind that.
Yeah, of course. Religion has a place in our society. Religion is something important for people. It's a human endeavor to imagine and to have order and have a doctrine which you follow. That's something humans cling to. The problem is a lot of these religions are not true, and they can be used as vehicles for hatred and violence. Um, but yes, religion inherently is a very human endeavor. It's not, but they can be very toxic at times.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Know that you are a Christian. Somehow you pretend you are not. But anyways, you always talk about, the evolution regarding coming from apes. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? I
Yeah.
I, I,
So, so
I enjoy you, Mike. I enjoy your different roles. But please, can you answer this question?
yes, um, people don't understand. People have a hard time grasping the fact that we are apes. We are animals. And for so long, we live in these bubbles where we think that we are separate from nature. We are something different. Um, but the first step in understanding biology is to realize that we are part of this biosphere where we are animals and we are apes and we are a type of ape. When we say we come from apes, what we mean is
Mhm.
we share a common ancestry with other species that are living today. If we trace back all of our DNA, all living apes and primates today, you trace all of our DNA back, we can see that we stem from a common ancestor about 20 million years ago. And from that moment, that species branched out into different species over many generations and became the monkeys of today, the apes of today, and humans of today. And this is something that we observe in the fossil record, in the genetic records, and in lab experiments. So evolution is a fact, we observe it, and we are part of it.
So you don't believe that God exists?
Now, I
All
don't
right,
even know what a
Mike.
God is. I don't know what God
You,
is. It's just a word to me. It's just a word.
but you know what? You know what's so funny? You look so lovely, and God is love. Don't explode on me. Don't kill me. But you do. You do. You sometimes you look like so lovely, like such a lovely guy, and all of a sudden you explode when you become a vegetarian and oh my god. Okay,
Uh, just know that I have a reason for everything I do. There's a reason behind everything.
making money in TikTok. I know with different roles.
It's not the money. I don't make much money. I care about people. I do. That's why I do what I do. And yes, I might seem aggressive, but there's a reason behind that because I am fighting for something. I'm
Mhm.
fighting for the animals. I'm fighting for people's rights. I'm fighting for critical thinking. I'm fighting for science literacy. So that's why I'm aggressive. There's moments to be aggressive and there's moments to be calm.
Got you, Mike. You have a good night. Okay, I will still keep on looking at you being in different characters on TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, what do you got? What's your question?
So, I know you obviously genuinely do not believe God exists. So, my question to you is, do you do these lives where you're asking people to prove to you that God exists just to kind of like challenge the beliefs and not actually like look for evidence? Because you obviously don't think that there's any evidence, right? So,
Yeah, again, there's a reason why I do these things. It's to bring exposure to these arguments, to bring exposure to these big ideas about God and religion, and it's there to challenge people's belief systems. I know there's no evidence of a God, but that's the point because debating about these things, we don't do it enough, right? It took me 20 years for my belief in God to be challenged. 20 years. I went through life never questioning my belief. And for that, it hindered my ability to think critically. So now I am in a position where, hey, I have the ability to help other people think more and perhaps change your life for the better. Let me do debates so I can bring these arguments to light and help people think more and perhaps change for the better. That's all.
okay, I hear you. Um, And I guess my next question would be, since, you said that like you're aggressive for a reason and like you're fighting for these things that you're passionate about, clearly. Um, do you feel like that approach, like if you're trying to resonate with people and if you're trying to like actually like engage in like meaningful debates and conversations with people to, like you said, like challenge their beliefs and all of that. Like, do you feel like that's the best approach to take to like really get through to people?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple reasons why. Number one, people aren't challenged enough. People think we're taught at a young age that our beliefs are sacred and we can't talk about them, right? Keep quiet. What does your mom and dad say? Keep quiet. Don't talk about religion, right? And for this reason, people don't question it. And we live in these little bubbles. And what I'm trying to do by being aggressive is to pop that bubble to see if it can pop, right?
Hmm.
Because there's nothing it's like the bubble boy, right? He's protecting himself from the outside environment. Oh, don't touch the outdoors. There might be germs, right? That's a scam. It's a scam to think that beliefs are sacred. That's stupid. So I think that when I come in aggressive, I'm popping that bubble quickly. This way people are going, whoa, I got stung. Oh my God, that's hurt. That hurts me. What did he say? He said that my God's a piece of garbage. oh no, that's terrible. Why would he say that, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make you go, whoa, the shock effect. But also, I'm aggressive because the people who are Christian, fundamentalist, that are so deep in the cult, they're never going to change. They're going to stay Christian. But for the ones who are on the fence and listen to me, well, then I can more easily perhaps, convince them, or easily perhaps, change the way they think. So that's the point. It's a win-win for me to be aggressive, because it also shows us, it shows people that there's something I'm fighting for. I'm passionate about something. It shows people that there is something worthy here. There is something worth fighting for here. So for those three reasons, I am aggressive. And it's entertaining, yes, and it's entertaining.
It is. Okay, well, that's all I had. Thank you.
Hey, Mom.
What do you got?
So my dad needs a kidney, and I was wondering your thoughts on the new where they transplanted a pig kidney into a human. What are your thoughts on that as being vegan and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think this is a great area. I think that as of today, I mean, science does remarkable things, and using this technology, I think that saving people's lives is the biggest priority. As a vegan, I don't say that pigs are more valuable than humans. What I say is, if we don't have to, if there's no justification for harming animals, we shouldn't. So when it comes to things like pigs with their kidneys, if there is no other option, and if it could save a person's life, I think it is justified. But this is a gray area. Some vegans disagree with me. But again, if there was a situation where somebody needed a kidney transplant and they were dying, and I looked at their eyes and said, "You're going to die, sir, because I don't want that pig to die for you." I don't know if I can justify that. So this is a gray area for me, and as it exists for every moral framework, there's always going to be gray areas to every moral framework. So
I
the point
I
is,
don't
that
like,
I think it is justified to a degree.
yeah, I agree on that. I don't like, the whole lab rat thing. I think that's, goes beyond. I think there's too many animals that are being used for studies. But how is our DNA so close to a pig that we can use a kidney from a pig?
Yeah, that's remarkable. Um,
We came from apes, right? Not pigs.
well, pigs are very close to us genetically, so are cows. Um,
So why aren't we taking kidneys from apes?
well, yeah, um, that's a good question. I'm not a doctor, but I know that there are probably more legal precautions to harming apes versus pigs. We see pigs differently legally. So, but yeah, I think that what you're saying is justified to some degree. But again, there are many vegans who would disagree with me. But I just couldn't look at somebody in the eye and say, "You're going to die because this pig's life is more worth than worth your life." I don't know if I can do that.
Well, and I mean, yeah,
But
hopefully you wouldn't.
also
Hopefully
more
the pig would.
importantly, but also the technology will get to a point in the near future where we will no longer have to do that. We will be able to produce our own organs without using animals.
Well, I mean, there's the whole stem cell thing, but I mean, still, I just don't understand how we are so close to pigs and not, if we can get kidneys and heart valves from pigs when we came from an ape. I don't understand the logical explanation why they're going pig instead of ape. I know pigs are smart, but if we derive from apes, where's the logic behind the pig thing? I just,
So pigs are mammals like we are, and we share a common lineage with them, very close lineage. I believe about 30, maybe 50 or 60 million years ago. Again, we are very close to pigs, just like every mammal on the planet. If you understand science, you realize that about 65 million years ago there was a giant asteroid impact which killed many animals. The mammals remained, and the animal population got reduced to about 20%. And from there, this is why we're very similar today, because we all stem from those mammals about 60 million years ago. Most mammals today stem from those mammals.
it's this whole thing is just really cool because, I'm one of those people to where, my dad's been waiting on the list for almost a year now. And, I see what they're doing with the pig kidneys and things like that. And it's like, with the pig labs and the monkey labs and all that. Yeah. I want my dad to have a kidney. Do I want a pig to die for it? Yes, if it's going to work, So there's
Yeah, it's a gray area. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. Morality is not black and white. There's always gonna be differences in people's opinions. But to me, I couldn't look at somebody in the eye and say, "You're gonna die because this pig. I don't want to kill this pig, or I don't want to take this kidney from a pig." I couldn't do that. Some other vegans could. I don't know if I could. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. What do you got?
I just wanted to ask, a previous speaker did ask almost the same question, but I just want clarity that by you having these type of discussions, do you feel almost as if like you're imposing your beliefs on other people? Whether it's about you being vegan or being atheist or you believing in science over religion, whatever. Do you think that probably you are just imposing your beliefs on people and not letting people, just like you have, discover what works for them? Yeah.
I,
So just wanted to.
I'm imposing. What do you mean by imposing? I'm just expressing my opinions here and expressing, what the evidence seems to show. That's all I can do. You don't have to be here. So if you think I'm imposing something on you, well, go away, scroll away. That's not my fault. It got personal for you.
No, I'm just
I'm here
asking.
to.
It's not personal for me. It's not personal at all.
So
Listen, it's not
what
because
is your
yeah.
contention here? What is your contention with us?
I'm just asking in the sense of because like people, there was another speaker who came in and they were speaking about being vegan and how like it was about the vegan chat and they're like, no, I'd kill the animals whatsoever. And you were like, no, 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 and you kicked them out. So I'm just like, in terms like such discussions, do you feel like you almost like because you are save the animals and you are pro animal life and whatever, and other people are just like, what, animals are nutritious, and if I was also like in a game reserve or something and a lion saw me, it would eat me, so why should I spare a life of an animal?
That Yeah, the reason why I kicked you is because you're rambling, right? That's why we debate. We debate. That's why I debate about veganism. What's the more ethical option? So maybe stay tuned for my debates. You can come up and we can hash it out. Okay.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi. Just going back to a previous question that was brought up. Do you remember the conversation with Joe Rogan when he talked about the apes that mutilated the man who cared for the ape? He got the ape a birthday present. He made it a cake, and they broke out of the cages and they ripped him to pieces. My
Yeah.
question is this: how does that make you feel?
Bad? What's your
Yeah,
point?
you said that earlier we derived from apes, correct?
Yeah. Humans
Right.
are.
So,
If you're trying to
so
say that, if you're trying to say that the other apes are too violent for us, I'm sorry, sir, but we are the most violent species that ever existed. We enslaved millions of people. We are still today harming innocent people around the world,
of course we
beheading
are,
them
yeah. Not just
torturing them.
animals, sir.
Take a
Not
look.
just
Take a
animals.
go, sir. Travel back a couple thousand years ago. We put
Mm.
people on crosses. We put people in torture chambers, electric chairs. We are very violent apes.
We are. We're a
We
very
are more
violent nation.
violent. We are even more violent than the chimps.
Yeah, no, I understand that, sir. You know. But listen, you take care. I earlier you did cut me off.
I'll do it again.
Hello.
What do you got?
Have you read the Quran?
Unfortunately, what's your question though?
My question is, what do you think of it?
What do I think of it?
Yes.
I think it's ancient folklore that no longer has any relevance to modern society. I think it's an outdated, outlandish piece of garbage that should be banned and put in museums for us to mock at forever. I think that it's a violent, harmful, toxic belief system that deserves to be thrown away.
Well, in the Quran, it talks about a lot of stuff that scientists are now discovering, yet that book is over 1,500 years old.
We're discovering now that the Quran is garbage. There is nothing in the Quran that is scientific at all. It's completely unscientific, complete nonsense. Talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, never happened. Never happened.
Well, it also talks about things like the Big Bang Theory.
Absolutely not. The Quran does not mention anything of the sort. There's a verse where it says that the firmament is expanding, like, or God is expanding over the earth, the firmament. Well, that has no relevance to the Big Bang, because that is referring to a firmament, a solid dome around the earth, which doesn't exist. Okay, next. Who split the moon?
No.
Fuck are we talking about on this live? Ooh, let's talk about science and veganism and evolution.
Give us your question, sir. What is it?
Oh, my question. My question is, what is your theory on how the Earth started? Like, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory? And what is your take on veganism?
So the Earth has nothing to do with the Big Bang. The Big Bang is an rapid expansion event that happened about 13 billion years ago. And in that moment, the universe rapidly expanded from a hotter, denser, smaller state to a much larger, colder, less dense state. And that's all the Big Bang says. The Earth is a rock. And as the universe became less dense and colder, what precipitated were dust clouds that became large enough to collapse. And due to angular momentum, they formed disks, which then spun and rotated, and heat built up in the center. A star forms. It releases a shock wave, which pushes material outwards into the outer outskirts of the disk, which make it colder. Fragments precipitate. They clump together, and they become planetesimals, smaller planets, and then Earth. So the Earth is a big rock. And that's how it got here. There's nothing magical about it. There's nothing mystical about it. We have a very good understanding of how we got here. It's not God. It's physics. Now, when it comes to veganism, my stance is this. I don't want to harm animals as much as I practically can. I avoid any harm. If I can avoid it, I do. That's it.
When did you come to that state of mind?
5 years ago.
Okay. And has it been working for you since? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel happy? Do you feel complete?
It doesn't make sense to ask, is it working for me? It's a lifestyle that works for the animals.
I guess I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, I suppose. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it. I love your live.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what do you got?
So I had a question about atheism, and I just wanted to know, do atheists have morals?
Absolutely. We have way better morals than any religion does.
How so?
Secularism is a system where I base my ethics on the real world. If I punch you, it hurts. So I don't punch you because I can use my brain to come to a empathetic and logical conclusion as to how you want to be treated. So with this framework, now I can really understand how you feel. I can really empathize with you, and I can really make the best choice that considers the other people around me and the other animals. So a secular framework for morality is way more pure, way more fruitful, and I think way better at achieving a society that is more prosperous, with more rights and more freedoms. When it comes to religion, your only framework is built upon a book. Some guy gave you rules. Some guy gave you a rule book, and you are a slave to whatever the book says. I think that hinders your ability to think freely about what the actual consequences are to our actions, because you're so blinded by the book that you forget to see what happens around you.
I
I think
agree.
that's what
I
really
don't
works
follow or
for morality.
prescribe to any one religion at all. I don't
Okay.
believe in any one
Okay.
particular book. I am very spiritual, but yeah, I think a lot of the books have been indoctrinated and yeah, not so good. So basically, as an atheist, you do believe in like good versus evil or like duality. I'm kind of confused there.
Well, every atheist is different, but to me, good and evil are just preferences. What I prefer is good, and what I don't prefer is bad. And
Right.
from this subjectivist framework, I understand that there is no absolute right or wrong, but I can still come to a right or wrong based on what I think and what other people think is the best for our society. That's it.
So basically, like if we're all just kind of molecules accidentally floating on this rock in space, then it doesn't really matter what we choose or what anyone chooses. It's just a personal preference.
Well, whatever, I don't know why you said or invoked the idea that we are molecules, as if that means something, because regardless of the medium in which we exist in, it has no bearing on whether or not we can actually achieve morality. yes, we are molecules in motion. And guess what? These molecules can yield people who have morality. That's it. Morality can emerge from matter. That's incredible to understand. Whether or not there's a God, how does adding a God change that? It doesn't. You think it does because you can't fathom a world where we are molecules in motion. It doesn't make sense to you. But if you really understand science, you can understand that these things are emergent. And there's nothing bad or wrong or inconsistent about my view at all.
True. I guess my understanding of God is that everything is God. Like all of the forces of nature are God. All of the molecules and the atoms and all the plants and the animals are all God. That is all source consciousness. And we're, source experiencing itself. That's just kind of
Okay.
what I've come to understand. But it's just confusing to me with, being an atheist. Yeah, I guess if nothing matters, then you're just wanting to do good just for it feeling good because you want the best. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't understand why any of that would matter what anyone chooses.
It's because I do good because I genuinely want to help other people. It
Why
is a
though?
pure
Why?
way of living life because I genuinely care about other people. That's who I am. And by the way, if we are made of consciousness, as you say, how does that change anything? How does saying we're made of consciousness, which by the way is not proven at all, how does that change anything about my moral system? It doesn't.
True. I guess I don't really understand the question. How does it change anything? To me, it's just the fact that we're even existing is proof of a higher consciousness that we're all
How?
connected to.
How?
I mean, just the fact that we're sitting here having these experiences, like we're all experiencing this collective consciousness
That's
together.
your opinion. You have yet to show
It
that.
is. No, it's just something I've come to
So
understand.
how? How do you understand it? Your feelings? Or do you actually have evidence behind this consciousness?
I mean, literally, I feel like just existing in this time and space,
Yeah.
like,
You have no, see, this is a cute thing to believe in, right? It sounds cute. Oh yeah, we're experiencing the universe through consciousness. And that's a cute thing to say. But it has no it is not rigorously defined in any meaningful way. You're just saying stuff. And to me, I think we should be more cautious before we start saying these things and start really defining what we mean by this collective consciousness. What does this really mean? All right,
well,
I'm
have you
after the truth.
ever, like,
I'm
for
after the truth.
example, what about like dimethyltryptamine is a molecule that's found in every sentient being. So every person, every plant, every animal has DMT within their bodies. It's released in massive amounts when we are born. It's released in massive amounts when we die. When you smoke DMT, people have had extreme spiritual experiences where they feel like they met God or source or the collective consciousness. And, there have been people who like take DMT and they literally have gone from being an atheist to realizing that we are
Okay,
all part of
okay,
one
Dan,
consciousness.
Dan. Okay, again, I'm after the truth. I want to know the truth.
You should probably
And
smoke some DMT then,
hold on.
honestly.
No, 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 no. Unfortunately, what you've just explained can be purely explained through naturalism. Yes, we're made of molecules and certain DMT molecules. Yes, but this can be explained by natural occurrences. You don't need God or a collective consciousness to explain these experiences. Near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, these are all things that we have lots of documentation for. I think that if you have an experience where you experience something crazy, before we say, oh yeah, this is collective consciousness, let's ask ourselves, what else could it be? What are the alternative explanations that perhaps do a better job in explaining that? So that's my approach to this. I'm willing to agree with you that there is some spiritual realm but I don't believe in things without evidence. I want the data because I'm honest and I care about the truth. If you don't, go ahead and believe it, but I'd rather be honest than be fatally wrong and dishonest. But any other questions? Okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What's
Let's
your
just say,
what's your question?
so you were religious at one point, right?
Yeah.
So was there like a specific moment to where you were like, oh, this is all bullshit? Or what, did you always like have your doubts and beliefs?
I did not question my beliefs until I was 20. And it wasn't I didn't become an atheist in one day. It took me many months to really, fathom it, to really grasp it. But yes, it took a long time of me studying, researching, right, challenging my beliefs, asking questions that I never asked before. That's what it took to become an atheist. Everybody has a different story, but to me, my experience, I think, has a lot to do with what I do today. Because I understand what it's like to believe. I understand what it's like to be delusional. I understand what it's like to be wrong and mad about it. I understand what it's like to be a Christian who, is told that their religion's bad or dumb. I know what it's like. And my perspective, I think, helped me in who I am, in being who I am today. But yeah, that's all I can say about that.
All right. And for the veganism, that's like purely for the compassion you have for like the animals, correct?
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right. I have to go to the restroom. Stay tuned. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's your question?
Okay. Yeah, I guess in simple words, I just want to ask you, like, why do you want to know so bad? Like, why is it,
What? What?
why do you want to know so bad? Like, why do you have to know? I know that doesn't make sense. Okay, let me think. When it comes to God and everything.
Oh, because I've always been that way. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to know things. It's something that certain people have. I have it strongly in me, this curiosity. Since I was a kid, I was always listening to what people were saying. I was always trying to learn. When I was outside, I was playing. I was always trying to see what I could find, trying to see what I can learn, trying to poking things and learning things. And this never stopped. And this curiosity never went away in me. That's why I'm still this way today, because it's just who I am. It's just this big curiosity for
Do
how
you,
things work.
do you think it's possible for you to truly comprehend? Like, if the problem, if the solution to your problem was given to you, you think you could be able to comprehend it?
That's the thing. I don't see a problem. Whether or not there is an absolute answer to reality, I don't care. In fact, the beauty of science is that there is no ultimate answer, that we're always learning, that learning is an infinite thing, and that the mystery remains and it always remains. That's something profound that drives me even more to be curious.
You don't think that could be a higher power? Like, you don't think that could be God?
I
That
don't
thing
know.
you just
I don't.
explained?
I don't know what that means. What is a higher power? It's just a word.
It's well, I look at it as a designer, basically. Just a designer, just somebody that created it.
Okay, great. How do we falsify for this designer? What does it mean to design something versus a non-designed thing? How do we show it? How do we demonstrate it? What is it? Does it have a mind? Is it designed itself? Right? These are all questions that arise when we say things. It's easy to say that there's some designer, but how about all the follow-up questions that follow?
That part, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if you let go of that, you'll be able to not. Because is it heavy? Do you think it's heavy on you? Do you think it heavy? I mean, weighs heavy on you? All the questions you have.
Well, fuck yeah, of course. Life is not easy. uh, Doing science is not an easy thing. But that's the reason why we do it, because it's a challenge, right? If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. But guess what? It's challenging, and that's why when we do science, even though it is a struggle to achieve an answer, when you get the answer, it's a profound thing. It can change the world for the better. It can change a lot of things about how you see the world. So that's what science is all about. It's all about the journey.
Mm. Me personally, I just don't think we'll ever find that answer. I feel like you have to
Me neither.
just
I
take
don't know. That's why what we're gonna try, right? Why not try?
you got to take the context clues. You don't have to try. You don't try because it's not something to be attained. Like it's not attainable.
How do you know that, right? See, now you're being lazy. Now you're just saying, well, you'll never get it. So let's just say it's God. That's lazy.
No, 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 no. I mean, you can't attain it with evidence. I'm saying you can attain it. You can feel it
How do you know that? How do you know that?
by feeling it. The girl earlier was talking about consciousness. Like, would you agree with that? That we're all linked, or
What does that
that
mean?
doesn't.
What do you mean we're all linked? What does that mean?
Okay, so you're a vegan. You respect animals' consciousness, right?
Yeah.
You don't think that like plays a part in us being linked? The way you respect that consciousness, the design of that consciousness.
I don't know what that means. I mean, linked in what way? There's no collective consciousness I see. I think that everybody has a different conscious experience.
The fact that earlier you said you're genuinely a good person. You don't think that's like, you think that's just random? That you're genuinely a good person?
What do you mean random? I decide
Like,
to be that way.
right, but why though? If nothing matters, like if nothing is subjectively right or wrong.
Well, maybe meaning is not to be given to us. Maybe we can make it on our own way, in our own terms. Maybe we can generate meaning and purpose. Maybe I can emanate this purpose. Maybe I can produce something that matters. Maybe I can make life matter.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get through to you today, but
If you can show me that there is some objective purpose to life, great, congratulations. But even if it exists, who cares? The fact that I can make my own purpose, I can do things in my life that actually helps other people, that gives me enough purpose forever. I don't need something objective. I can do it on my own way, and we all can.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I guess it's the message. I feel like you apply it to yourself, but you deliver a different message than how you operate yourself. Does that make sense?
No. But do you have any other questions? At all?
I do, but you could go ahead.
All right.
Hey, how's it going?
What's your question?
So you He, sometimes I feel that you like put animals above humans in the sense of there's a lot of civilization like societies that, for example, consume meat for traditional purposes. Are you morally superior to these people?
I think so. I think a society that doesn't harm animals is morally superior than one that does.
Why?
Well, because harming animals is harming a sentient individual who has an experience, who doesn't want to be harmed and doesn't have to be harmed.
But isn't pain just chemicals?
Yeah, it is just chemicals. And it doesn't change the fact that it feels something, that we can experience something real, that it means something to us. The fact that we are made of chemicals has no bearing on the value of the experience. The experience is still real and valid and meaningful, regardless of the medium which we're made of.
So you find no meaning or importance in traditions and culture that should be vanished because you have this feeling for animals.
I feel the way I do for animals, for the same exact reasons I feel the way I do about humans, because we're not different in any moral significant way. Humans feel, think, they don't want to die, they don't have to die. Same with the animals. Animals think, they feel pain, they don't want to die, and they don't have to die. There is no moral difference between us and the animals. That's why I'm a vegan. It's not that I value animals more than humans, it's that I value them enough to morally consider them in my framework of morality.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, isn't that, animals when they suffer, right? These are just pain receptors that are getting all these nervous signals. Um, but it doesn't really have any like, meaning. So you love animals? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I love animals just for the same reason I love people. We're amazing beings who don't have to die. Why do you not care about us? Why do you not care about the animals?
I mean, I don't really see you like you don't really respect other cultures, religions. Sometimes I feel that you're very uh, condescending, mockery.
Well,
So it kind of
well,
it's kind of
it
a
doesn't matter what you.
contradiction that you think that you love animals, but
Well,
then at
what's
the same time,
condescending? Hold on. What's condescending is someone like you who thinks that they can impose their own moral system on the animals. You get to destroy them, you get to kill them, you get to harm them, you get to mutilate them, you get to enslave them. That's condescending to me, sir. The idea that you think that you get to do whatever you want to the animals because they don't matter to me. I think that's kind of condescending to me. And though I might seem condescending to people when I debate, well, there's a reason why I'm aggressive. There's a reason why I'm fighting
so
for something. I'm
so you,
fighting for something that matters. And I'm trying to make you see this,
so
that
cultures,
animals do matter and they can matter.
yeah, but so cultures around the world when they eat animals to feed their kids, we evolved to eat
Okay,
animals.
I'm not going to go to Sentinel Island and go, hey guys, stop eating animals. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to do is say, hey, are there ways we can make better changes, better choices? Can we do that at least? That's what I'm advocating for. I'm not saying that we should all go to Sentinel Island and go, "Hey guys, stop being cannibals."
Yeah,
That would be ridiculous.
yeah, but
All I'm advocating for is people to make better choices and to think more.
yeah, but why would it be a better choice? I mean, you're a science guy, right? You know why we eat animals. We evolved to eat animals. It's part of our diet. It's not, we're
But it
not,
doesn't have to be. But it doesn't have to be.
mm, why doesn't it have to be? Why should we
Because
stop
there's
eating
no
animals
reason.
because you feel sad? Why should
There's no reason to consume them. And it's not that I feel sad, it's that the animals are dying and they don't want to feel pain. It's not for me. I'm not being it for me. I'm being it for the animals.
but why like pain is just a chemical reaction within the animal's body. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's not
Same with
pleasant.
the same
It's
with
not
babies.
pleasant to them, but at
Yeah.
the great scheme of the universe, it doesn't really matter, right?
It absolutely matters, sir, because we make it matter. We make ourselves matter because guess what? We can perceive each other's values. I can understand who a person is. They're sentient. They're conscious. They're aware. Just like the animals, we make each other matter. Where do you think matter and meaning comes from?
I think it's subjective, and everybody has their own way of
Exactly.
living.
So great. So you agree that we can make ourselves valuable. We can make ourselves mean something. So that's why I debate veganism because there is no reason, there's no justification for harming the animals. And not 100% of the times, people come up here. They can't justify it. There's no
Yeah,
moral
but
difference between us and animals.
not eating animals. That's simply just going against our evolutionary nature. Um,
So is having a cell phone. So is living in air conditioning. So is
so
having clothing. So is using nuclear fusion. So is using
yeah,
rockets.
it's like, people are always going to have that inclination towards meat because it's within our DNA.
That doesn't
Um,
mean we should kill because we have an inclination to do so. That's like that would justify every rape and murder.
yeah, so what would you propose, like a law that would make it a crime to kill and eat animals? That would create a black market for meat. Don't you think that would be
Well,
worse?
well, what I would do is spread awareness and educate people as to who the animals are and how we consume things and how agriculture works. That's how we solve these issues. Education, learning. We don't have to enact laws. We need to also do education. We need to make people understand what they're doing.
So far, laws haven't really worked very well against a lot of things, drugs, drunk driving,
Okay,
murder.
does that mean we'll all give up and just all become drug addicts?
No, but I don't.
So let's try to have a better world.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think that's we're gonna reach that utopia. I think that's very like it's a
Well, let's
fantasy,
try, sir. Well, I'd rather not give up. I'd rather try. This way, we may have a future that's better because it's possible.
Hmm. Well, I really doubt that would happen. Just by the nature of human beings. You know,
And I
evil is not
doubt
going.
that you will ever understand if you don't educate yourself.
Well, agree to disagree.
Well, it's up to you to educate yourself, sir. Either you can be lost in confusion, or you can understand that there are consequences to your actions. And we don't have to solve every problem in the world. We can do our best, and that is enough.
Yeah, but you can't have like the entire globe believe the same exact thing. That's just not going to happen.
We don't have to
We're
have that,
very
sir.
tribalistic. That's
We don't need that
almost
to happen. That's not what I'm advocating for. Veganism is advocating for not even 10, 20% of people. Because even 10 or 20% of people who spread awareness and change, that's enough to change the world. If you think about it, everything in history happened because of a few people that spoke up. Every major change that happened globally started with a few people who spoke up. Big changes are possible in small numbers.
why should it be because we're animals too, right? So why should we be the only species to make that change? Other animals are going to continue behaving by their nature. They're not going to stop eating meat. because
Well,
we stopped, you know.
well, well, we call ourselves intelligent. We call ourselves the greatest species in the world. We call ourselves, we claim we're so valuable. So why not show it? Why not use our intelligence instead of boasting about it? Why not use it and do something beneficial for the world and for us? If we claim we're so smart, let's be it.
Hmm. Okay, nice talking. See you.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got? What's your question?
Um, hey, Mike. I've been listening to your live for quite a few weeks now, and I respect what you're trying to do. I've just got one question because I usually watch one where it says, "Can you justify eating an animal?" Um, would you say it's a fair comment if I said I'll eat the animals that vegans cause to die? So if I just go behind the crop fields and eat the birds and the mice that you guys cause to die, is that okay?
Yeah. So we're not causing those animals to die, right?
Yes, you are.
That is no, because when I eat crops, when I eat things like plant-based foods, the farmers that have to grow those crops to feed me, they are protecting their own fields. That is justification. They're protecting, right? This is called self-defense. They're protecting their fields from animals and infestations, and that is a reason why those animals are killed. It is not my fault that the animals are there. We have to eat food, right? We have to eat something. And when I go to the store and buy plant-based products, I'm intending for those only, for those vegan products only. I'm not intending to kill an animal. Whereas what you're doing, your mentality is, let me go
Excuse
ahead
me.
and
You
intend to
don't know what
kill
I eat.
somebody.
You don't know what I eat.
You want to kill more animal. You want to kill the animals with intention. I don't. That's the difference.
Okay, well, I've never told you what my diet is, but okay. So why don't you plant your own plants, Mike, instead of indulging in commercialism and going to stores?
Because I don't have a garden. It's not possible.
So you're okay with those animals dying as long as
Well,
you can eat. You can justify it.
yeah, because I don't have the ability to make a garden. I'm in an apartment complex. I don't have land.
But you love animals so much, they cry. You know, you say cows cry
No, no, no.
and they've got
This,
feelings. I mean, what about their
this,
feelings then?
this is a misunderstanding of what it means to be vegan. I'm not Ace Ventura. I am not a perfectionist. I am somebody who makes practical choices. I do things that I'm dealt with. I deal with the cards I'm given. And that's all I can do. All I can do is make choices that are most practical for what I have. You are strawmanning veganism by saying, "Oh, we have to be perfect." That's not what I think.
I get that. I get that. But my point is this, man. We all cause harm. So would you agree? And I know this isn't realistic either, but you do a lot of hypothetical stuff. So if I was to eat one animal and kill one animal purely to eat for a month or two, would you agree that that's harm minimization in the same way that you're saying you can't help these animals dying in fields? You're not better than anyone, man. Do you get that?
Well, the problem with what you're saying there is, yes, you might be in a utilitarian sense, you may be killing less animals. But the problem is, for a few reasons, um, you're not going to eat that one animal. Let's just face it. You're going to eat other plant-based foods. But more importantly, that one animal, um, you intended to kill that animal. When I don't intend to kill any animals, that's the difference. But more importantly, what you're advocating for is not practical, right? If everybody were to eat cows, like you said, once a month, well, guess what? That's 8 billion people times 12. That's 120 billion cows we have to kill every year. Oh, what does that sound like? It sounds like factory farming. That sounds like how
Okay.
many animals we have to kill for factories. So the point is, what you're advocating for is not practical. It's not possible. And sure, on your own individual terms, it might be killing less to me. But guess what? On a global scale, it is not vegan at all. It is the opposite of
And
vegan. And
and you know what?
that's why what you're advocating for is incorrect, as well as the fact that the crop animals, your crops, are less sentient, right? Insects and bees and bugs, there are lesser degrees of sentience and consciousness that to me are less valuable than a cow's intelligence or sentience. So that's also a consideration. So for those reasons, your argument doesn't really hold up very well.
Listen, man, I agree with a lot of stuff you say, the warehousing, and it's really sad. Like some of the stuff they go through, it really is. Yeah, I'm on the same page. However, I'm playing devil's advocate, Mike, because all it is I sense some like I just can't stand this like superiority stuff, man. It's like I'm vegan, so my shit don't stink. When the truth is, millions of animals die a year so that people can be vegan. Millions. That's a fact.
Right,
Not a
right,
few. And it's not just bugs. And it's not just wasps. It's not
right,
just that. So that's
right, right.
rubbish.
I understand, sir. I agree. We can't be perfect. But what we can do is make practical choices that, with our mindsets, intend to minimize cruelty, intend to stop cruelty where we can. That's all we can do, sir. We can't be perfect, but we can do better. That's all.
Yeah, I can get down with that, man. I can get down with that. Listen, that's all I've been wanting to say for weeks, to be perfectly honest with you, mate.
All right, thank you. Who's liking this Q&A? Who's liking it so far?
Hey, Mike, how you going?
Well, what do you got?
Just in regards to religion, I have a question for you. Obviously, we have an understanding that you don't believe that there's a God, and you've said yesterday, prove to me that there's a God that exists. So, my question to you is, if I was to give you a mathematical impossibility in a holy book, would you claim that that's a word of God, if it's not measurable by a human?
Well, I don't know what a mathematical impossibility would mean or entail. And I don't know how that would be correlated to a god. And whatever God is, I don't know what that is. You have to do a lot more than just say
Okay,
that.
so
Define what you
perfect.
mean.
So, if I give you an example, perfect. If I give you an example, would you know, just by looking at from where you're sitting to the bedroom door, how many feet exactly it may be, just by looking at it?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you two. There's many more, but I'll just give you two. So in the holy book of the Quran, the Islamic book, between the start of the Quran to the very first word where it mentions iron, which is the chapter called iron, there is exactly 5,100 words. Now, scientists have just recently discovered in the Earth's core, where iron is concentrated, it is exactly 5,100 kilometers. You can do the research on both the Quran and the core of the Earth and where it's concentrated at. It's exactly the same number. And if that one's not enough, I have another one
No,
for
hold
you.
on.
So,
That's not one yet. You haven't
how is
given
that
us
not one?
one yet.
How is that not one? If they're both the
Because you
exact same
said,
number.
because you said what, 1,500 kilometers?
No, sorry, 5,000. So from the start of the book to the where it says the word iron first, it is exactly 5,100 words.
Okay. And how many
Okay,
miles is that to the core?
5,100 kilometers to the core.
Okay. And what is that in miles? That's not in miles. That's a different number, is it?
Of course, but we need to work off something. Just like when you say, for example, the Earth could be, 18 billion years old or 8 million years old,
Yeah.
you're
So
not
it's
giving
a
it.
so a simple Google search, and
Yeah.
it tells me that the Earth's core iron it goes from a 1,700 to 4,000 miles.
Concentrated. You have to write the word concentrated at.
Yeah. So there is no one moment where you can say that this is objectively where it begins. Right? This is very, very vague and very, very subjective because this because what you're saying is there's one number, but it doesn't exist. There's no one moment when iron. Okay. There is no one moment where iron begins. There's no one number you can point to and say that's the beginning of iron. That's stupid. But yeah, we're not debating. Please don't debate me about this right now. I really don't want to do this. I just want to answer questions, guys, today. I'm really, really not in the mood for debating. You guys have no idea how mentally abusive this shit is.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's your question?
So really, I just joined I just joined. So what's what's kind of the pros today? What are you looking for?
It's a question.
Q&A, veganism, science, evolution, and religion. So would you choose religion over evolution, or science? I guess in lieu of both of those. And how do you feel about veganism, or are you vegan? I guess really, because I've always wondered exactly what that is.
So science is the king because science is falsifiable, experimentable.
Right.
Religion is not. That's why science wins every time. Veganism means a person who wants to minimize animal cruelty as much as practically possible. It means that we make choices and decisions that lead to minimizing animal suffering. We don't consume animal products. We don't wear them. We don't.
So when you say we, you mean you as well? You are as well?
Yeah, I'm a vegan.
I would like to add something on that. Like my dogs, I don't even put collars on them because that's kind of like animal cruelty. And when it comes down to the whole realm of what animal cruelty is, that is such an easy line to cross. Cows being processed for milk and things like that. I don't know or I guess if you're vegan, then you actually know how they get the milk from the cows and they're like all lined up and stuff in the
Yeah,
pens or.
I don't want to partake in forcibly impregnating cows. I don't want to partake in that, so I don't do it.
Yeah, so I eat meat sometimes, but if I do, I try to share. I have two dogs, so then I get 1/3 of whatever meat I eat or give them more and then eat the other stuff. So then that way it's clear across the board. As nature is, dogs and such like that, other animals, they get to enjoy it as much as I do if I get to enjoy it as an animal as well, but then
Yeah,
don't leave them out.
but
Yeah.
and that's a good thing to do. But I think what's better than even that is to just not eat the animals at all.
Right. I did wonder about if like how flowers move to the sun, if you would actually consider the flower being alive, but then I guess it doesn't have a voice or anything, but is it still alive because it follows the
Flowers,
sun and
flowers are absolutely alive. All
Mhm.
plants are living beings. The problem is they're not sentient. They don't feel pain. They don't suffer emotionally or in any neurological way. That's why I don't consider them in my moral framework because they are not sentient at all. And if
do
they
that
are, they are sentient in a very lesser degree than any animal. And
mhm.
so in that sense, it's negligible.
Do they have studies on that, like if they have nerve endings and such?
Yeah, they don't have any nerve or pain receptors. They don't have any brains. They don't have any type of neural network at all.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
But there is some evidence that they do have they can produce electrochemical impulses. But so can my phone. Right? So can my phone, my computer. It doesn't make them conscious.
Hey, could I ask you about that? What you think about the realm of the AI coming about, or the what is that neural implant or something like that? Like, how do you fall on, where do you fall on either side of that, or what's your thoughts on it in general?
AI is probably going to help us dramatically in the near future
Oh yeah.
because AI isn't emotional. They don't care about things we do. They don't act on their emotions. They act on the logic and the facts. If that's the case, well, they're going to be superior to us in many ways. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that we will reach a point where AI will become intelligent as we. And at that point, we will no longer be relevant as a species.
Oh
And,
yeah. I wonder
but
if we'll get weeded out.
we're not
What
going
was
to
it?
beat them. They're going to overtake us, and that's the future. The future of our species is robotic, mechanical. It's the only
Oh yeah.
way because our biological bodies are very, very, very flimsy and limited, and our brains can only do so many things.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so the progression towards that state will be more integrated, like you said, chips in the brains, right? Things like this,
Mhm.
more, robotic integration, biotechnology. And then after a certain point, I believe in the next century, we will either merge with AI completely or they will simply take over and humans will become non existent.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the in the realm of possibility for sure. I was wondering about. So, how do you feel about? I know you have electricity in your brain, right? And so, like, they're searching for the soul or whatever. And I guess at one point in time, they weighed a body, and it was the same. So, could that be, in a way, how the soul, I guess, is measured in the Bible or something? And if it does go to the ground, like all electricity eventually does, is there a chance that maybe your personality could stay there or information you had learned? Or what do you think about that?
Well, that study, that thing you mentioned about the weight, that
Yes.
is not, it's called the 22-gram study, and it's not at all repeatable or testable in any relevant sense. They only had a few test subjects, and the results were unconclusive and were not reliable.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to the electricity in the brain, I wouldn't say it's electricity as in like a copper wire. It's a
Mhm.
different kind of bioelectricity, right? Neurochemistry that produces these electrochemical things.
Right.
Brain, that's what thoughts are. But the energy is not going to be, you're not going to be conscious when you're dead. That's not going to happen.
Hopefully not.
It
Yeah.
seems to
Yeah.
me that the energy that makes up your body will eventually uh, break down into the soil, to the air, and the water, in the atmosphere where it came from, because that's where we come from. We are borrowing molecules and energy from the external world, from the air,
Definitely.
from the water, from the soil,
Hmm.
and that's where we're going to go most likely.
That's pretty cool. That seems to align with like vegan beliefs, because my dogs had actually, I don't know if it was a deer or something, they got a hold of it the other day and took it out, right, and it was dead. But they do that sometimes with raccoons too, and they'll leave it there. They'll notice that so much of nature benefits from that, like just them killing something, and I'm thinking that's animalistic, right? But then we bury our dead, and the nature gets none of it, like the natural animals. And then so when they kill something and leave it outside, in a day or two, it's picked clean, then the flies get it, and then so on and so forth. But us burying our dead kind of seems like an affront to nature. Like it says,
Yeah,
honor thy
it's an
father and mother,
ego.
and so that could be Mother Nature.
It's an egotistical thing we do, right?
Yeah.
We humans think so highly of ourselves. We think we're special. We think we're separate
Mhm.
from the animal kingdom, but
Yeah.
um, we are part of nature and in very deep ways.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Um, I don't know. I just want to adjust this real quick. So I've heard that an ionic compound is like some type of chemical or something that has a positive or negative charge, and I've heard that there are some psychedelics that are like that. That the brain scans show more connectivity between regions of the brain that don't normally actually communicate with each other. And so, like, do you think that could be a reason for it? Is because it's an ionic compound in itself, it does have an electrical charge?
Yeah,
Cool.
but yeah. The brain's a neural network, right? A very large, extensive neural network. Your thoughts are produced by your neurons producing electrochemical energy. That's what your brain does. It produces energy. And when you have these ions, that's how your thoughts work. So these, like you said, these ionic compounds are going to give you certain hallucinations. They're going to give you certain more more powerful thoughts, more
Oh
powerful
yeah.
thought processes
The
versus
actual
others.
picture of it is quite. It seems like 2 or 3 times more like lines of connectivity between certain parts of the brain, and I just really wonder how the study was done. Was there a
Yeah,
control group or something like that? But how
yeah.
would you know?
The brain is a very very complex mechanism that we still don't even understand much of, but we will. It'll be interesting to see the next 30 years, so where we learn more about it. Uh, Where's your Sky Daddy? Thank you for subscribing. Someone said a guess with a brain.
Hello.
What's your question?
Can you explain the Big Bang?
The Big Bang?
Yeah.
The Big Bang is a model. It's called a lambda model.
Yep.
And what it does is it attempts to explain how the universe was smaller, denser, and hotter in the past, right? 14 billion years ago. It was very, very small. The entire universe, everything today we know of, was compressed into a thing the size of a grapefruit, all the energy. And this was trillions and trillions of degrees. And since that moment, it rapidly expanded. It was an energetic event, rapidly expanded, and the universe became colder and less dense. And from that precipitated galaxy formation, stars, and then planets. So all the Big Bang does is attempt to explain 14 billion years. That's it. We don't know what happened before it. We don't know if there's anything beyond it. These are
Yeah.
just beyond our understanding. But all we know is that the universe was smaller in the past and now it's bigger. And that's it. And that's an amazing thing that we can understand. It gives us a lot of insight on where perhaps we come from.
All right. Thanks. That's all I wanted.
Okay. Okay, I'm still getting noise from the last guest. Let me see if this works. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my question would be on your stance on veganism. So, what do you say to the people who just generally don't think that killing animals is wrong? What would you say to them?
They just don't think it's bad?
Yeah, they just don't think it's bad, like for eating and for the eating
Oh,
purpose.
I asked them why. Why do you think it's okay? What justifies doing that, right? That's what I asked them for. And from what I've seen, most people cannot justify it, or in their moral framework, there is a contradiction, or they think it's okay to kill an animal for X reason, but it's not okay to kill a person for the same X reason, right? There's a contradiction.
Okay.
So that's why.
And on top of that, what if they think that humans and animals are different? That's why they hold their value in humans more than animals.
Yeah, I would ask them, in what way are we different morally, right? I would ask them what's the reason?
Okay. And then secondly, it would be in my position on, I wanted to ask you this. What do you say to the people who talk about like the God debate, and they ask essentially the question, um, how do you know the laws of physics won't change in the future? Because since they say that you're an imperialist, right? How do you know that the laws of physics don't change or hasn't changed?
Being an empiricist, yeah.
Yeah, my fault.
We don't know that they won't change, but we are maximally certain that they won't change. They don't seem like they will, and for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter because our scientific laws and theories and models work. They work as it is. So if it is the case that one day they change, well, then our scientific understanding will change. Our laws will change, right? And that's the beauty of science. We adapt to the new data. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's all I want to know. Your position on. How do I
Great.
lose?
Okay. Something is not working correctly. Can you guys hear me? Someone said no. Okay.
Hello?
Hey, what's your question?
My question, you're just debating veganism, right?
No, this is a Q&A. What is your question?
I was on your live yesterday and you were like debating to be like why it's not right to be a vegan.
Do you have a question or not?
You know what I mean? I have a question. If I
What?
could if I could debate you on why it's okay to eat meat.
Yeah, tomorrow or the next day. Today, I'm not debating today. I don't have the mental endurance to do that today. Mike, you need a Latina girlfriend. I mean, sure.
Hello again, Mike.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Hey, what do you got?
Questions. The first is, how much do you think America could benefit from the government starting a pharmaceutical manufacturing company so we stop overpaying for medications?
Well, that's off topic, but I don't know. I don't know enough to give you a good answer. But I would say that the solution, I think, is to stop the privatization of healthcare. I think we should make it public. I think that we should. I think that Obamacare was a good step in the right direction. I don't think that we should privatize healthcare.
What would you do, like if you were the president? What's like one of the first top 5 things you would do?
Education.
Nice.
I would reform the education system so that students feel good about going to school and feel good about learning instead of feeling like, this dread of going to school, right? I would also put more
So what do
spending
you?
into science research, do more
Yeah,
science research. We don't do enough of it. We need better
true.
scientists in America.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think about the behavioral reinforcement that people institute for behavioral modification or later in life because of habits and such being implemented when a child is younger and telling them that, hey, you do have the ability to reinforce your behavior and you could facilitate whatever you want to be if you reinforce that. You think that could work, or what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know enough about that to make a decision. I don't want to talk about that. It's really off topic, but thank you, man.
All right.
Couple more questions and I gotta go. Who really wants to come in? Let me know if you really want to come in. Who wasn't on before? I'm not gonna have you on twice. Of course, you all say me. What percent do you think God could exist? We can't assess that. We don't know the probability of a God. God isn't even a possibility as far as I can say. It's a word and it means nothing.
I was on a live with Blitz. I don't know if you know Blitz, that He's a really smart scientist guy. He's okay. And he told me that the proof that we have that the Big Bang happened is that the universe is still expanding to this day, correct?
Yes.
Is there a video or another like something that a scientist found that another bang happened that we can see that it made more planets like our Earth and stuff like that, or is just our bang is like the one of one?
Well, it seems to be that ours is the only one. We don't have any evidence of other Big Bangs, but is it possible? Yes, it's possible that before the Big Bang, there was a quantum field or a scalar field in which many other quantum fluctuations were occurring. They occur randomly because that's the nature of quantum mechanics. And it's possible that beyond our scope of the observable universe, there is another realm where other Big Bangs are occurring, which are unattainable to us. We cannot see them. We cannot observe them. They're beyond our scope entirely. This is something that's possible within the realms of quantum mechanics. But there's just no evidence for these other Big Bangs. But inflationary cosmology is looking out for that evidence.
Interesting. Okay, cool. All right, my next question to you, man, is it's a little personal, but I just want to have your input on it. I'm a vegan and I don't believe in no religion. I think it's cults and all that stuff. And this one guy, he told me that emotions aren't real. Love isn't real. And he really made me believe that emotions and love is like a manipulation tactic to put on someone to make them believe you without like it's let's say you're doing bad to him, you're doing bad to someone and they say they love you and you keep going back to them. Is that really love, or are you just going back to them because they say they love you and like you're just attached to that kind of feeling, but you don't even know what's really happening to you? You know what I mean?
No. Emotions are real things. Objectively speaking, emotions exist. I can't not be emotional. I can't not be, an emoting being. That's who I am. But yes, there are emotional manipulators out there who will take advantage of how our emotions can be subconscious, right? We can subconsciously feel things as well. So maybe that's what he's talking about.
But how is that? Like, how can we? Because I'm looking at it now. I used to just believe in love and all the fairy tales and all this crap. Now I see it as like, love is not real to me. I just take it as if you disrespect me, then I just don't want to have no parts with you. But if like almost like I'm just going by respect now. It's like I'm not going by people's words anymore. I'm going by their actions and what they actually do. And I feel like I don't want to hear your words to make me feel better about what you're
Okay.
doing. I want to know about your actions.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't know what your point is, but
I'm saying love. Like I'm saying, how can you love someone? How can I put this? What's your definition of love? Like, what do you see love is to you? Like, what do you think that is to you?
seems to be a brain state in which you feel a certain way towards certain things. It's a generally good feeling that you have where you are affectionate and you feel clinged on to something or somebody. I don't see anything more than that. I don't understand anything more than that.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not a neuroscientist. I couldn't tell you more than that.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
All right. Have a good day. Last guest here. Does zero exist? As a concept, yes.
What's up, Mike? Hello?
What's your question?
Hey, you're a scientist, right?
No.
Okay.
I have a science background, but
Okay, that's
I'm not
cool.
a scientist.
That's cool. Because I never hear scientists talk about this. Well, first of all, are all species related? Let's like the basics. Are all species related?
Yes, every species is related to each other in
Okay.
some way.
Okay, cool. So, what role does sex play in evolution, in the role of evolution?
Your microphone is cutting off, but
What role does sex play in evolution? Like, what does it?
well,
I
we
know.
know we know that for the most part, most species on the planet reproduce asexually. They don't have sexual reproduction. They do it asexually. But the reason why sex evolved in animals is because of genetic diversity. It is more, it is better in terms of the results, right? In terms, if I have offspring that are able to achieve traits from the father and the mother, well, guess what? That will have more genetic diversity, which they can spread to more offspring, and which means it results into more chance that some members of their offspring will survive better. That's
Okay.
all it means. It's just an adaptation that allowed us to get more reproduction.
Okay, cool. I also heard earlier somebody talking about the consciousness linking and all that. I don't know about all that because, like, for example, me and you humans, if me and you think of water, that's just a human thing to do because we get thirsty. We think of water, you know. So I don't believe in the linking consciousness. Somebody was talking about it earlier in your life.
Yeah, I don't believe in a collective consciousness. I think that's a very ill-defined term. It doesn't mean anything scientifically, and there's just no evidence for it.
Cool, man. Hey, so veganism. So I mean, everything eats everything. Like black holes eat galaxies, galaxies eat stars, stars. You know, everything eats everything. So, I mean, I respect you don't want to kill animals, but at the end of the
But
day, everything eats everything.
right, but we don't
My
have to
father
eat
used to tell me like
animals.
even trees have life. Like everything has life.
Right, but we don't have to eat the animals and harm them. That's not necessary.
Yeah,
Right.
I do respect that. But at the end of the day, everything eats everything.
Okay. And
Everything just eats everything.
and
Cycle of life.
sky is blue.
Yeah.
Stating facts doesn't demonstrate ethics, right? I'm asking you. There's no justification for eating animals at all. It's not required. It's not necessary, and we don't have to. So I don't do it. That's all.
Stating facts doesn't justify ethics, you said? That's
Stating facts doesn't necessarily have an effect on ethics.
cool, man. That would be a nice quote.
Saying the
That's
sky
that's
is
that's
blue
pretty
doesn't
cool.
change the fact that it's wrong to kill animals because ethics is inherently subjective. It, there are things that are factual but perhaps wrong, right? It's a fact that
Right.
bad things happen. It doesn't make them good.
Have a good night. Thank you for your time.
Anybody up here that wants to come up? Hello? All right, one last guest, and then I got to go for sure.
Hey, what made you go vegan?
I realized that I was watching a factory farm video where I saw a cow being hung up on a ring and slaughtered, and it was kicking while it was being slaughtered. I realized that many of these animals that we kill in factories are alive and conscious while they're being cut up alive. So I think that after I saw that video, I realized that I don't want to contribute to that at all. So I became vegan that night. And I changed. It was that simple.
Respect. I like that. Um, what do you think about when it comes to creating like I guess like pharmaceuticals for like people that are dying when it comes to like animal testing?
Yeah, this is a gray area. My position is if the results are more beneficial for society and in terms of actually saving people's lives, I think there's a justification there. But if you're going to do makeup, right? If you're testing animals for makeup or something stupid, there's no justification for that. I think that's wrong. Again, this is a gray area, but every vegan's different. Everybody's different. But I think that we should minimize harm as much as we can and maximize well-being for people and animals as much as we can.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cool. All right, thanks. You have a good night,
All right. Well, that's all, guys. Thanks for being here. I gotta go. Hopefully you guys learned something and you guys like the Q&A. If you're in the live, I'm real. What's your favorite vegan meal? Your mom. You are a beautiful person. Thank you. It's nice to see some. I get a lot of backlash. I get a lot of hate from all sides. So it's good to get compliments sometimes. It's good. We don't hate you. Oh no, I get a lot of hate from all sides. Every side it is attacking me, right? Religious people attack me for my atheism. Atheists attack me for my veganism or my it doesn't matter. The point is that I don't care. I'm doing what I want because I think it's better. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that, by the way. Means a lot. Are you agnostic? I guess you can say that towards certain gods, but many gods I know are not possible. So, everybody, please subscribe to my YouTube. I'm so close to getting more followers. I upload lots of videos every day. Link in my bio for my YouTube. I upload these lives to my TikTok every day too, so you can see them. I mean, to my YouTube, yeah.